Right, so I already have my server running for Jupyter Notebook. If you don't have yours running, you'll want to just remember these commands. You're gonna have to get into the file where your virtual environment resides. Then run this command in your command prompt to launch your virtual environment, and then inside there is where your Jupyter Notebook resides, and you should just be able to put this second command in there. And that should run your notebook. Now once you're in there, there's a few things we want to talk about inside Jupyter Notebook itself. So let me expand this up and take a look at this. Alright, so using the IPython shell, right, that's the Jupyter Notebook, we can use these shortcuts. If you type A, I'm going to do the second one first. I'm just going to hit the A key, and you see it inserts this this cell above here. If I go back to here again and I hit B, you see it inserts a cell below. All right, so that's A and B. It'll insert a cell above, and it'll insert a cell below. Now to get rid of a cell, see this DD right here? I'll go here and hit D twice, and it removed that cell below. And go to this one and hit DD twice, and it removes that cell above. You see here we got this this drop down here. It says markdown. You've got a markdown cells and code cells. Well, a markdown cell is where you can type text in, and a code cell is where you can type code in. So let me put another cell below here, and we can change this cell from a code to markdown, or from markdown to code, using this clicker up here. But there's a shortcut for it. M changes it to a markdown cell, so I'm hitting M on the keyboard. Boom, that's markdown. Y changes it back to a code cell, so just hit Y on the keyboard, and that'll get rid of it. So if we want to just run a cell without a code cell or a markdown, without adding another cell below it, we do Control Enter. Let me show you that down bottom. Let me delete this DD. I'll go all the way down to the bottom, and in this last cell down here, I'm just going to I'll just click into here. In a markdown cell, you double click it, it activates it again. I'll just type hello in here for an example. Now if I hit Shift Enter, you see what happens? It executed that cell, but it also added another one. If I hit DD here again and delete this, then we'll activate this again, and this time I'm going to hit Control Enter. Alright, so it ran the code in that cell, but it didn't put a new cell underneath it, right? Let me delete this out of here and Control Enter again. We're back to normal. So let's run back to the top up here again. Alright, here we are. In order to put a comment into a code cell, let's go down here, and you can just hit Control and your /. Boom, see that? That put a comment in there. Now if you want to uncomment that, it's the same thing. Control /. So you can just toggle back and forth between commented and an uncommented line. And then the final thing to think about here is this 0, 0. This restarts the kernel. Okay, what's the kernel? This whole notebook it's running on the kernel, and so I can restart and clear the output, or I can restart and run all, or I can just restart. Yeah, it just leaves everything in place, but I almost never use this, although the shortcut for that is 0, 0. I'll either restart and clear it, or restart and run all. You just click that. I'll show you that. Restart and clear all the output. Boom, you lose all your none of this has been run, and you'd have to run everything again on your own, or come back up here and run all. Now if you have any code in here, actually let me do that, and I'll show you where this stops. This will be maybe our last point out of just general usage. So I'm going to run all the code, and it runs from top to bottom, but it got down here, it's still trying to run. You see that? See these little asterisks in here? Yeah, this is just where a lot of this has not been able to run, and the reason why, if you go up here, just looking at these little indicators, you can see where it stopped. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it stopped at 28 because it got an error. Now if it gets an error, and this was a purposeful error, we put that in there on purpose because you can't add these two entities. but when it hits an error, it'll just stop running. And so, you know, the best case would be probably to hit Control / there, and so that won't run. And then we'll come back to the kernel and clear all output again. Now see, right here is block 28 where it quit. We'll restart and run all again and see how far it gets before it hits another error. Okay, again, it's still doing its thing. We'll start scrolling up. Still processing, still processing, still processing. You see these asterisks. Here we go. It got down to, I don't know how far it got down to 34 this time until it alright, so anyway, this is a bit of an introduction into just a comfortable usage of Jupyter Notebook. Of course, there's a lot of other shortcuts you can look at. It's just in this this little clicker right here, but these will get you pretty far, right? Okay.